So I'm going to jump out of our main bird list for right now to talk about what's the most important part about InDesign for Studio 3 and this assignment. And that is paragraph style. So you see here I have two paragraphs. They're not very long paragraphs, but they're separated by a return. And what you need to do is bring up the styles. So I'm going to go to Styles, Paragraph Styles. Now I almost always just use paragraph styles. I very rarely use character styles. Just I find them less useful. There are some uses for them, but for the most part, you're going to want to be using paragraph styles for this. I'll show both. And so if you notice right now, I'm going to put my cursor into a paragraph, and both of them, they just say basic paragraph style. If you don't ever use this in InDesign, everything will be labeled basic paragraph style, and then you'll see maybe a little plus symbols and things around that if you were to open this up. And we can create a paragraph style on these. So as long as you have your cursor anywhere in the paragraph, I'm going to go down here and say create a new paragraph style. Now it hasn't applied that style quite yet until I actually click on this. So now if you notice, I put my cursor in the second paragraph, it's still a basic paragraph style. I put my cursor in here and I have paragraph style 1. And so I've labeled this paragraphs to be this new style. So I'm going to double click on this. And this is going to bring up our style options. Once you start working with styles, you'll pretty much no longer use this contextual bar up top. You can, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. But right here, you see that it's in the general, you can base one paragraph style on another paragraph style. So right now it's not based on anything, but we could have based it on that original basic paragraph style. And what that means is it will take some of the options if you don't set them from the parent. And so that can be handy, and we'll do that at some point during the Raptor list. But looking down here, you see we can change our pretty much everything, right? I can change my font, so I'll just change font. I'm going to push preview on so we can see it behind it here. Let me see, can I move that? No, I can't. Right, change our style, right? We could change our kerning, we could change our leading, which I didn't change, right? So there it goes. Our tracking, so here we go. See, and it's applying to all the characters in that paragraph. And there's obviously all these things we can do, set the color, set all these things. There's just a ton of stuff in here, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And so that's setting it there in the dialog box. Now, if I want to apply that style to, my other paragraph, all I do is put my cursor in there and I apply it by clicking, why did it, I don't know why it, there we go. It just had a rendering problem. So all I did was put my cursor in and select that if I wanted to. Now I told you you can actually override this if you wanted to. So if I went to this paragraph and I selected it all, and honestly, it's never good to actually select a paragraph like that. What you'd want to do is triple click on it, because occasionally there's like an invisible character or something at the end that you don't pick up, and then you get this weird thing going on. So I'm going to go ahead in this, and I'm going to change this. Well, what if I just change the color to make it the most obvious thing? Give me CMYK here, right? And so I'm going to make this purple. And so now notice, well, actually, you know, purple's not as seeable. Let's make it like red so we can see these across each other. So now notice you've got this plus symbol that's shown up right here. And that means that there's an override. And so how do you do with this? Well, you can override it. If you accidentally change the style and you hold Option and click on it, it will go back to the original style, but that's not what we want. We want to then update the whole style. So what we do instead is we go to the little hamburger menu, right, that's in the top right, and say Redefine Style. And now when I do this, watch, this one actually then takes on those changes I made. That plus goes away. And so you see there's really two ways that you can operate on paragraph styles. Character styles are kind of the same, except for you're going to just change things. So what if I wanted to come here and make that all uppercase, maybe add some size to it, right? The good thing about paragraph style, so if I put this here, you'll see this little plus here. right? We'll call this character style right here. And so now we've marked that it's a paragraph style, so it's not causing our little plus symbol to come up, right? Again, that's why I'm saying it's kind of useless to use the character styles. Don't do it. Just, unless you have some reason to do it like that. That's that. And the question you may have for me is, well, why go through all the trouble of working with these styles? And so let's think about what we're doing in the Raptor list. We're going to have all of these information that are of the exact same value, right? We want them to look the same. Well, if you made one change somewhere when you were making the decision process, and then all of a sudden you decided, oh no, I want it to be different. If you did them individually, then you'd have to go back through and change them all individually. And you could have a giant document like hundreds of pages long, right? And that would be a problem. By using these paragraph styles, right, we have one way to change everything. And you'll see how we leverage that as we go through the Raptor.